Let's get it.
Stealing art tutorials from TikTok and trying to make money off them, posting them on a spanking brand new art account. These art tutorials have been considered controversial by the art community on TikTok because of their quote-unquote controversial subject matter. And just for context, so we're on the same page, here's one of the tutorials I like a lot and I find pretty funny, but other people on TikTok think otherwise.
Remember that mouth can also function as a vacuum? So when slurping a corn dog, not only the corn dog gets sucked inside, but also part of the lip skin. And that can create some shocking wrinkles, especially on the lower lip. And that's
Not my
These are
speed.
the funny art tutorials which
Definitely
I
not
and
my
a number
speed.
of fellow experienced fine art enthusiasts consider as peak content have so far so good clearly stayed within the fine lines of algorithm approved content, breaking no terms of service while also
Remember, people, like, because I'm an old man. All jokes aside, I know this is like sexual innuendos and all that stuff, but in the end of the day, the algorithm is just predicated off of retention, right? How can we hold your attention? Doesn't matter what content it is, sexual, disturbing, weird, cringy, brain rot. It doesn't matter. As long as the viewer shows that it's holding the retention rate from the beginning to the end, and a lot of people are doing it, then it's going to be hoisted upon. It's going to be, exposed out there all over the internet just because of the retention rate. So for those people who are like, oh man, my like even I'm going through it, right? Like my own content is not really getting out there in the algorithm because the algorithm is based upon whatever is outlandish, whatever is out of the ordinary, whatever holds people's attention, that's how it grows.
also helping a vast majority of webtoon artists and illustrators improve their comics and art in general. And unironically, someone somewhere in this worldwide web of internet entrepreneurship thought it would be a lucrative venture to steal these art tutorials and repost them on a different platform so they could profit off them and make money. And if you're wondering how that's even possible in the first place, since things like copyrights kinda exist but aren't really taken seriously except on platforms like YouTube for the most part, well, here's why. You see, Bubu Senchan, who is the artist this person stole from, has been posting these tutorials for over a year on her various social media platforms. Bubu Senchan has grown a massive fan base and a warm, welcoming art
That is a
community
hard
with
view to
over
draw, by the way.
700,000 followers on TikTok,
Upwards view.
470,000 followers on Instagram, over
Well, they're
100,000
making a
subscribers on her
good
YouTube channel,
good
which by
living
the
off of
way I
that.
consider you should go subscribe to her if you haven't already, and
Why
94,000
you
followers
subscribe to
on
my channel?
Twitter. And across each of
Let me get at
these
least
social
half of
media
that. I'll be good.
platforms, Bubu Senchan's drawings and art tutorials receive millions and millions of views and a ton of comments under her videos. But there was a little problem. You see, Bubu Senchan was posting on every social media platform aside from two, Facebook and Snapchat, which for the most part are presumed as dead platforms by literally almost everyone on the internet. But right
Well, it's not really dead. It's just Facebook and Snapchat are not dead. I mean, what's really dead, honestly, is like Tumblr. People don't really use Tumblr like that, but it's not necessarily dead. They still exist. The closest thing to pretty much dead is MySpace. Even most people who are Gen Zs are like, "What the hell is MySpace?" Well, MySpace was around when you was born, right? The moment you was born, that's where MySpace was at. But I'm gonna fast forward for fair use purposes. I don't like playing the original content creator's video in its entirety. So I always put the original content, original video in the description below if you want to check it out.
still playing in the background of the video.
Remember that the hairline is not made of straight lines. Instead, draw curvy lines following the natural shape of the neck and the ears. I also recommend you to separate the head into sections. Remember that the
If you're using
hair shortens
Procreate,
as it goes down in the head.
This video had over 170,000 views and almost 7,000 likes.
still
And
using that
people in the
Stink
comments were
Meters
all
voice.
responding
I mean,
thinking
Stink
it was
Meters,
posted by Boo Boo without realizing
Boondocks
this was an
sound.
entirely fake account. If you scroll through the other videos on the page, you can see they've been posting many of her videos for over a long period of time. And it seems they have been also posting videos from other artists as well.
And this goes beyond just artists. This just in general. Even with like WWE and all that stuff, people will repost on their YouTube channel and they'll rack up the views. And it's like you're not even adding commentary or making it transformative. You're just what it's called. It's called mirroring. So mirroring is when you are screen recording someone else's content and just copy and pasting. That's literally what that is. Transformative is when you use pieces of the person's content, whether you're taking it as inspiration, taking it as commentary or reaction videos, or you just using someone's artwork, let's say, for example, as like reference to make your own version, right? And you always put the original content creators' original work or their video or pictures or whatever, you put that in the description below, right? To show that, hey, paying respect to the originator. But this is what you call blatant stealing. This is plagiarism. So this is not just artists, because I like to make things as a wider brush instead of it just being a niche, because I know most people cannot draw, but this applies everywhere. So let's say, for example, if my videos end up getting, a lot of views or whatever, and someone literally just copied my whole entire video and just pasted and trying to make money off of their platform, that is stealing.
Some of the videos posted clearly looked different from Bubu Senchan's regular art style and were a little more detailed and had fewer funny innuendos than usual, like this drawing of Wednesday from the Addams Family.
That's interesting how they're able to. That is not my drawing process at all. Hey, I ain't discriminating. Besides, they're doing it all digitally.
An entirely different artist this person is stealing from, and the original artist probably has no idea what is even happening. So I did some digging and spoke to Bubu Senchan, and apparently Bubu Senchan.
Oh, okay, I see what's going on. That's crazy. This is one of the reasons why I show my face. I made different YouTube channels where I hid my face, because I'm more of an introverted type person. I don't like attention. I like to just keep things to myself, right? I'm like a hermit, right? But then I also start to think about like, well, if I don't show my face, then it's so easy for people to just take the artwork, right? That's why even with the YouTube shorts, I have my face right here, as you guys can see it, and I have underneath it is the drawing process, right? So if people try to take it, it's like you can't. Really can't take it. And even if you try to, it's like, well, lawyer up, because in the end of the day, it's blatant proof that I am the original creator. So for people who hide their faces, which a lot of artists do, just be careful that it is up for pickings. It's very easy for people to just screen record your stuff, and unfortunately, they can even not only get more exposure than you, but they are making the money off of your back. So that's pretty messed up.
Myself found out that this person was stealing her videos and reposting them, and was also impersonating another artist entirely. You see, Marika Bonnie UK is a real person and an
411
artist with over
a lot of these
400,000 followers on
artists
Instagram, where
on
they have
this is Instagram, so that's even more prominent than TikTok.
On the profile links page on Instagram, it shows that their only other social media accounts aside from Instagram is TikTok and YouTube, which is why they probably had no idea someone was stealing their art and reposting it on Facebook and pretending to be them, which is such a really stupid thing and shows a big lapse in Facebook's authentication process. How is it possible for someone to just steal the entire identity of another person and create a whole new functioning profile on their platform?
You even got Sam Does Art, where people just use his artwork and they just make AI out of it. So they don't want to pay from the source. They rather just cut corners and get free artworks from his style. So my fault. That's a pretty bad pause on you, Muhammad. Sorry about that. But yeah, like it's unfortunate, but the moment you put your artwork out there in public, especially on the internet, you're open season. And this is why you got to learn how to watermark, or if you're hiding your face, watermark the crap out of your artwork. I understand that visually It looks really bad. It looks terrible. I know everybody just want to see it without the watermark, but you got to be careful. Or show your step-by-step process. And when doing that, have your watermark. I watermark all the time. You see the logo and the name Vezzing. I know you never hear me say my actual name here. This is a name, Vezzing. So that's the name of the channel. And I always have that with the ninja logo in case anybody would try to take the artwork. And it's also good for promotion as well, so people can identify where this is coming from. So be very, very careful, because nowadays it's becoming easier and easier for people to steal other people's work.
I'm finding out. Literally anyone can easily download a drawing or video from an artist's online portfolio and re-upload it onto a fake profile, claiming it as their
And
own.
unfortunately, there are ways in which you can take away the watermark on TikTok. There are ways people are able to do that. So the TikTok watermark don't always help.
Remaining undetected for a long time, especially if the original artist isn't aware their work is being stolen. Another major problem is how Facebook handles reports. Even when the real artist or a concerned fan reports the page, Facebook's moderation system is largely automated and very, very slow to act. Most times they don't even bother to remove content unless there's a clear copyright notice or a legal takedown request.
Yeah, and there's also bias and is popularity. It's the same thing with YouTube, right? If you are a huge content creator, I'm talking about millions of subscribers, you actually have a YouTube representative, right? So it's like you have your own lawyer pretty much on the YouTube space. So if anything happens, he or she will reach out to you. So you actually have an actual human being. When you are not as popular, unfortunately, you have to deal with, like most people, you got to deal with AI, the whole algorithm, and it's juggling millions, if not millions and millions upon users. So there's no way a human being is able to go into every fine toothbrush or fine comb and brush out and weave out all of the people who are stealing other people's content. So they rather just use the AI. And let's face it, AI is, like, you guys see it with the multiple hands. AI is not accurate. In fact, quick story time. There was a time where I did I used to do like animated shorts, and the one I did with that, I got hit with my channel taken down. I'm like, what the hell? So then I appealed it, saying, hey, like, I don't know why my channel was taken down for what reason. And that's because someone who watched the video, they just reported it. Just because they didn't like the video, they reported it, right? And other people reported it as well. And the algorithm automatically just shut down the channel because of the mass report, not knowing that the video itself was not harmful to anybody, and it wasn't derogatory. It was none of that. It was no hate speech. But luckily, when you write an appeal, a human being will have to look at that, right, and to read it and to see the video or whether or not it was harmful. So I wish Facebook and other platforms have that. I'm not sure. I mainly just use YouTube. I do have TikTok and I do have Instagram, but I'm mostly active on YouTube. So I don't know the system, how it goes with those platforms. But it should be something like that in which someone is able to identify the issue and seeing whatever is going on. I get it. It's millions of people. Everybody's trying to get out of that 9 to 5 and try to, build their own brand and business. But this is nasty work. This is what you call cockroaches. These are roaches at this point, right? The ones who will steal other people's content and just LARP upon that and try to make money off of the backs of other people's hard work. So it's one thing if you're doing fair use. It's another thing when you're just blatantly stealing someone's stuff. So that's that.
Art thieves can just block the original artist or use multiple fake accounts, making it harder for the real creator to even see that they're stealing their art. This person has literally been posting videos from both artists for months now, and nothing has been done about them or their account, and the page is still up and pretty active, even after it has been reported multiple times by different people who have come across the page. Some people also started leaving reviews on the page.
All right, let's see. It's stolen content from Boba. Okay. They're stealing content from other platforms, including showing content that features racist caricatures. She/them are stealing content.
to warn others about them, and just generally try to raise more awareness being considered as controversial. And while we're on the topic of snakes ramming the back of a cave, let's briefly.
As you can hear, English is not my first language, so I didn't know what a gunner meant. So I gave myself the task to look it up in Google, and it says that being a gunner meant somebody who is addicted to corn. And at the beginning, I was pretty afraid because I'm like, did these people hack my computer and went to my like search history or and saw something? But then I realized that maybe they didn't. So I'm like, okay, let me just go to the internet and finally answer your question. Is Bubu Sanchan a gunner? No. Bubu Sanchan is not a
I
gunner.
can't believe it's getting to the point where artists have to like defend themselves over people stealing their content and then also just giving out hate speech and saying ridiculous accusations just because of what they're doing. I get it, algorithm sucks and people are finding unique ways and creative ways, whether you don't like the subject matter, still finding creative ways to stand out and to make a living off of their creativity being an artist. Um, so that's that. I mean, it's not everybody's cup of tea, but in the end of the day, this is crazy how we got to that point. Let me fast forward a little bit.
The unofficial rule of Rule 34, which states, and I quote,
"If it exists, there is corn of it, no exceptions."
This rule has slowly come to represent the wildly wild creativity of the internet, suggesting to innocent fans of any popular franchise that no matter how obscure or random a character, object, or concept might be, someone has turned it into adult content somewhere on the internet. And while some people have grown to accept this so-called Guna art as just part of internet culture, most people have a problem when some artists start making Rule 30.
I didn't even know that was the actual name Guna art. I mean, sex sells. You know, anything, any IP that's out there have turned into corn. Replace the C with P, right? That's how it is.
34 drawings of characters who are canonically below the fine age of legally owning a driver's license. This of course gets people extremely riled up because everyone automatically agrees
It's kind of crazy how like people are stealing that to make money. Or it's
under any circumstance. The art community on TikTok still has a weird trend of calling art tutorials with slight innuendos in them as Guna art or Guna art style, even when for the most part these tutorials might just be teaching anatomy or drawing poses. And because Bubu Senchan makes similar tutorials with innuendos and a slightly older demographic as the target audience, people just automatically label her as that. Using innuendos like these are the only way Bubu Senchan can make her tutorials without getting flagged by the algorithm, and also for her to effectively teach other artists who make comics and webtoons within the above mentioned topic. But aside from innuendos and anatomy tutorials, Bubu also has multiple assets and brushes for artists trying to speed up their drawing process, and even has a helpful.
Yeah, that's just her way of putting herself out there in the algorithm. Again, like people find ways, man. People find ways. I'm gonna fast forward a little bit and then I'm gonna read the comments in this video.
Tutorials like this is AJ Art. I remember watching AJ when he was making art tutorials on YouTube during the lockdown, and seeing just how much he has grown, especially on TikTok, is really inspiring and should be used as motivation for anyone who's trying to build their art account or just build up their presence on social media. AJ's tutorials are for the most part genuine tips about concepts in drawing, but unlike regular artists who teach this stuff, AJ has a rather contemporary way of approaching the subject matter. Take this tutorial about drawing shadows for instance.
You gotta treat drop shadows differently from regular shadows, because while they're similar, they're actually very different. For example, we take this box right here and we would draw a shadow like this. This would be a cast shadow from the actual box, because it's on the ground and because the light source is coming from one direction. And the dark red of the box is the actual form shadow, creating the actual shape of the box. But what if we want to create a drop shadow? Well, basically what we would do is once we have our box or our object,
Let me fast forward this.
Figured out, you stick over.
Must be the wind. Must be the wind.
Must have been the wind. What happened to hello? How are you? Can I take you to dinner first? I'm done blaming the wind. I saw that. But then someone genuinely wanted to know what was happening. Another one of his really popular drawing tutorials is one where he drew a girl holding her pet cat and making a funny face.
Sometimes it's better to just draw through your artwork, because if you don't know what you're doing, it can be hard to just pretty much add the features that you need in order to make the entire piece come together. So that's why I always suggest sketching through
Oh
your art
man.
and making sure that everything is aligned, and then you can just erase all the other stuff you don't.
All right, you already know the innuendo. You already know, but then it actually turns into a cat. So whatever you was thinking about, get your mind out the gutter. And I think that's a clever way of doing things, because again, there's just so much content. So whatever you do to stand out, I ain't knocking the hustle. But let's read some of these comments. What are people saying? Oh, you already know. You already know what I'm gonna be doing. Gotta have the glasses right here, right? Let's go. Okay. The stealing part is very much sucks, but I also kind of hate people looking at tutorials like Bobos and complaining that there's Guna art. I'm saying there's someone who's sex repulsed, Argo, Ace, but the seriously of things is getting so frustrating. I'm not saying that we just have pee everywhere, corn everywhere. Just censoring that, since I have no clue if YouTube would hide it. But it gets to the point where it's almost particularly how people react. I don't know, maybe it just gets more worked up with the collective shouts crap that's been going on. Guna art style, dog, corn has existed since the beginning of time. What are we even talking about? The fact that he can get so much content from just taking about taken, you mean talking. Okay, you made a little typo, you missing the L. The fact that he gets so much content from just talking about art drama should be an indicator of how toxic the community is, and then he responded from that. Like, bro, it never stops. I know, right? And always TikTok. Next one person says, it's funny and also helps artists want to get reference for NSFW. NSFW is not for, what was it called? Not something. It pretty much is adult content. It's adult art content. I just forgot the acronym. Anyway, without feeling ashamed finding some reference, it's a win, to be honest, LOL. I dislike this type of art style 100%, but artists are OP. They have to study the anatomy of not only the person, but the scenes itself. The tutorials are honestly good, so good. Do I draw this type of art style? No. Do I love watching their videos? Absolutely. It's funny and engaging. Folks get so sensitive about spicy art, which is annoying. And for the thieves out there, you're so hungry for money and attention if you repost others' art. Her art tutorials help me out because even though they are meant for XXX, censored, the censored objects and creatures are still drawn correctly. There's new art drama every 3 days. Oh my gosh. Can't everyone just hold hands and kiss? Well, it is what it is. Okay. I watched the entire ad. Best ad considered this video's topic. I'm going to read a few more and then that's it. As someone who ace and reposts by SNSF, whatever, triple X type of video, as they call Guna art, I don't understand why people bully these sorts of artists. Like, you can just block them and continue to scroll if you don't want to watch it. It's not that hard. I get it. I get what you just did. Hard. I get it. Okay. The art thievery sucks. I hope that account gets taken down soon. On the Arguna art topic, as someone who's ace and a fully SFW artist, I don't understand. I don't think there's anything wrong with the tutorials. Even if they don't help me, they do help others. And hey, some of them like the breast tips actually do help me. I don't draw humans often and very little animals. They have visual breasts unless they're breastfeeding. So learning more about that, learning more about how they work, however, stigmatizing, I don't even know the word, bear with me, I can barely read, okay, whatever. It maybe is it maybe is helpful for when I want to do humanized designs or want to draw myself. Why can't we just make our own art? And then he replied, crying emojis. Seeing my comments scared the crap out of me. Okay. All right, last one, last one. You know what's funny? I created a personal Facebook account and they banned me for making a fake account because someone has the same name as me. I had to take a photo of myself to prove who I was. Insanity. Then as an edit, everyone remember, don't even know, not butchering the name, the art is so peak. And now I'm considered Guna art. Ridiculous, dude. Hot art should exist. Hot people exist. And guess what? I exist. So what do you guys think in the comment section down below? You guys agree with this? You guys disagree with this? And also, let me do my little shameless plug. Actually, wait a minute. Whatever. Actually, you know what? Let me just flip it right here, and then I'll do it like that. How about that? There we go. There we go. Here we go. And right here. All right, so you guys see right here. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. We got to get this to at least 1,000. Come on, people. I've been putting in a lot of work, all right? Not just reaction videos, but also doing drawing videos, all right? And I want this to get to the point where we could go live and we're going to have a better engagement back and forth, all right? So hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to like the video and share this content to anybody out there who are artists and non-artists, all right? And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.